Hey ladies and gentlemen, my name is Steven and you are watching From Soul to Crown. Thank you so much for joining me today and I hope you're having a blessed day. So this is my inaugural video. This is the very first video that I'm ever publishing to this channel. The date today is June 27th of 2020 and there are so many reasons why I decided to shoot this video and why I decided to create this channel, and I am so happy to have you along for the journey. In many ways I feel like you are having me along for the journey because I suppose I'm taking an approach that is quite different from what a lot of other people are doing on this platform, in the sense that I don't claim to be an expert. I actually don't know a lot about the very things that I plan to talk about on this channel, but I'm looking at this channel as a way of it sort of being a learning experience for me and a way for me to virtually log and record all of the things that I'm going through, but also look back at some of the things that I've experienced and share my experiences with other people who could potentially benefit from what I have done, what I have learned, and what I have to say on this channel. And so I do thank you for joining me today, and I really hope that what I have to say in this video today is something that you can take something of value from. So let's go ahead and get started. What does the name of the channel mean, From Soul to Crown? So it's actually something that is derived from a poem by the author Edward Arlington Robinson, and the name of the poem is Richard Cory. And there's actually a line in the poem that goes, "He was a gentleman from soul to crown, clean favored and imperially slim." And of course, I'm an English teacher, so From Soul to Crown is a play on words. Of course, not soul, S-O-L-E, as in the sole of your shoe, but soul as in, you know, your soul, right? And this is a poem that I use all the time when I'm teaching my students. I'm a high school teacher, by the way, and it's a poem that I use whenever I want to teach them about irony, specifically situational irony, where the opposite of what is expected to happen actually happens. And that's exactly what happened with this channel. I was never expecting it to get to this point where I'm actually sitting in front of the camera, recording videos and documenting my experiences. But something really fascinating happened to me about last February, I want to say, and it's something that has been in the works for over a year now. So in 2018, I actually started to research the pineal gland. Now, I'm sure a lot of the people who have clicked on this video, if anybody even decides to watch this video, you probably already know what the pineal gland is. And it is this endocrine gland that is found resting at the base of your brain. And its main purpose is that it is responsible for the production and regulation of two neurochemicals known as serotonin and melatonin. One of them presumably helps you stay awake. Melatonin, of course, helps you fall asleep. And it is then in 2018 that I learned that there are a lot of things that contribute to the calcification of the pineal gland. Of course, these things would include fluoridated water, processed foods, yada, yada, yada. It's a very, very long list. And it wasn't until February of 2020 that I decided to start researching the various ways to decalcify the pineal gland. And that is when I started supplementing with a bunch of different things. Initially, it started with me just not drinking fluoridated water anymore, not using fluoridated toothpaste anymore. And then in 2020 is when I really started to supplement with Lugol solution, which is iodine, chaga mushrooms in tea form, and I would also get the actual chaga mushrooms and I would put them in my tea in addition to the powder and the tea bags. I also started to supplement with wild oregano oil. I was doing a little bit of research into sun gazing, and so for the first 15 minutes and the last 15 minutes of every day, I would practice that. And I just started doing all of these things in addition to mild meditation. I was never one that was really into, full-blown meditation. But when I started to do all of these things, a few really strange things started to happen to me. The first thing that started to happen to me is whenever I'd go to sleep, I would have the most vivid dreams that I've ever had in my entire life. And this is something so strange and out of the ordinary for me because my entire life, if you asked me how often do you wake up and you remember your dreams? I would say maybe once or twice a year. And that is not hyperbole. That is not an exaggeration by any stretch of the imagination. I would dream occasionally, but I would wake up knowing I've had a dream, but not necessarily remembering what that dream was about. And when I started to supplement with all of these things, and of course not consuming fluoridated water for such a long time, I started to have really, really vivid dreams. And of course, initially I just did this because I wanted to have a better night's sleep. I read that if you have a calcified pineal gland, that oftentimes leads to you having insomnia. And I basically said to myself, okay, I want to do this in the pursuit of better health. And so it was a health endeavor that I had embarked on, but I realized that not only was I having really, really vivid dreams where I would wake up in the morning and I would be able to talk about my dreams for at least a half an hour. I would have so much that I'd be able to recount. But also I started to have these really strange coincidences, which I found out are called synchronicities. And these are coincidences where you look back on them and you say, never in a million years would I have expected these things to happen. And after about the fifth or sixth synchronicity that I had, I decided that I was going to pull out my phone and I was going to start writing them down because I didn't want to forget them. And in the past few months, I'm looking at that notepad on my phone, that app on my phone, and I realized that I have recorded upwards of like 50 synchronicities or something like that. And so these are things that are very tangible. These are things that are very concrete. And like I said initially, I've always been a skeptic of all of these things. I have a lot of really close friends in my life who would always speak to me about the law of attraction, metaphysics, parallel universes, alternate dimensions, time travel, all of these things. And in many ways, I am still a skeptic. But the fact that these coincidences have started happening to me in my life is something that is not a fabrication. It's not a confection. I like to consider myself a very intelligent and reasonable individual. And so when these things started happening to me, that's when I started to have this thought that, maybe there's a world out there that I'm not privy to, that I'm not aware of. And so I wanted to really create this channel to learn from you guys as much as maybe perhaps you can learn from me. And also, if it weren't for YouTube, I wouldn't have learned about, how to decalcify the pineal gland and how to, use the law of attraction to manifest your dreams and your desires. And like I said, there's still so much for me to learn, but I'm hoping that through my experiences, I can help people out there and vice versa. And sincerely, I do want to thank you for tuning into this channel. If you are willing to tag along with me on my journey where I share more of these stories, please do consider subscribing. And also please make sure to enable notifications by clicking on that bell. This way, whenever I do upload future stories or I talk about my foray into the vegan diet. I have been vegan since March 2nd of 2009. So I've been vegan for over 11 years now. Or I might talk about maybe some of my past experiences, some of the struggles and some of the things that I've had to go through and what I have done to overcome those things. So if you are interested in joining me on this journey, I would love it if you could tag along. And so thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Love you, and we'll see you next time.